this list, we'll be looking at the craziest and most sensational knockouts in UFC history. Which of these knockouts would you put on a highlight reel? Be sure to let us know in the comments. Round. Evans threw an overhand right and it connected perfectly on Liddell's chin. Everyone, including Evans, was in shock. The performance proved he was the real deal and more than just a wrestler. Number 9. Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey, UFC 193. Several iconic head kick knockouts have been dubbed the kick heard around the world. This one earns that name with good reason. It wasn't the first time he pulled off a front kick knockout. Number 7. Gabriel Gonzaga versus Mirko Cro Cop.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I cannot believe that! Incredible!
Heavyweight Mirko Cro Cop was famous for his kicks, so much so that a phrase, right kick hospital, left kick cemetery, was coined to describe his style. Unfortunately, he was on the receiving end of a devastating kick from his opponent, Gabriel Gonzaga, at UFC 70. In the very first round, Gonzaga hit Cro Cop with a head kick and he hit the floor like a rag doll. While it was already determined that the winner would face then heavyweight champion Randy Couture, Gonzaga couldn't have done a better job showing why he deserved a title shot. Number 6. Joaquin Buckley versus Impa Kasanganay, UFC Fight Night 179. At this UFC Fight Night, Joaquin Buckley pulled off something straight out of an action movie. After his kick was caught by Impa Kasanganay, he still made sure to hit him in the craziest way possible. The back kick broke the internet, and Buckley put himself on notice, cementing himself as one of the UFC's most exciting new prospects. To no one's surprise, it earned him an accolade for the UFC's Knockout of the Year. We'd be hard-pressed to see a knockout as wonderfully executed as this in the next few years. Number 5. Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, UFC 194. It was the fastest knockout in a UFC title fight, and it further cemented McGregor's claim as one of, if not the biggest star on the UFC roster.
Undisputed UFC featherweight champion of the world, the notorious Conor McGregor!
Number 4. Francis Ngannou versus Alistair Overeem, UFC 218. No one expected this bout to go the distance, and rightfully so. At UFC 218, Francis Ngannou cemented his place Ngannou into superstardom and made him one of the UFC's most popular fighters. Number 3. Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren, UFC 239. The fastest knockout in UFC history. Jorge Masvidal demolished Ben Askren with this flying knee.
The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo.
Askren wanted to go for the takedown immediately and paid for it dearly. The subsequent celebrations by Masvidal were also noteworthy, but there was a reason behind it all. Askren had a fair bit to say about Masvidal prior to the fight, so the lesson here everyone can take away is this: tread lightly if you trash talk Jorge Masvidal. Things might not go your way.
I saw some criticism. People say the punches weren't really necessary. Maybe
they were super necessary.
Number 2. Edson Barboza versus Terry Etta, UFC 142. Now this one looks like it came straight out of a video game. And before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Chuck Liddell versus Randy Couture, UFC 52.
And he goes down! He's down! And Chuck Liddell is the new light heavyweight champion of the world!
Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie, UFC 244.
Switching it up to the body. Goodness.
Rich Franklin versus Nate Quarry, UFC 56.
Again on the button. Out.
And down goes Quarry.
Cold. Wow.
Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, UFC 261.
And of all the superlative.
And switch on notifications. Number 1. Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping, UFC 100. Henderson's signature punch, often labeled as the H-bomb, was so hard, Bisping couldn't even
separates him from his senses. And Bisping right now is sitting up and he's asking what happened. He has no idea what happened.
With precision, timing, speed, and power, Henderson was able to land the ultimate shot on his rival.